It is Winning Wednesday here at Duncan Field in Hastings as the Sodbusters and Prospects face off in a 7-inning doubleheader today here at Duncan Field. Sodbusters victorious versus the Prospects for the first time yesterday. Final score a barn burner on both sides, 15-8, as the Sodbusters used a big 10-run inning to get the victory over the Prospects with a lot of D1 guys on that squad, so good to get the win at Duncan Field. The third Sodbuster win here at Duncan Field this year. Tanner Johnson was amazing in relief. He pitched 5 one-run innings in relief of Jacob Suits, and Caden Cusella picks up his first win in a Sodbuster uniform. And the offense was stellar. 17 hits, 6 guys with multi-hit games. You have Marcos Cabranes going 3 for 5 with 6 RBIs. So Sodbusters got down early. They were down 7-2, but they did not let that vanquish their hopes. They battled back nicely, and they kept their heads and took advantage of some key spots in the 5th and 6th innings with some prospect errors and some sloppy defense from the Prospects, and their pitching staff just was not on yesterday. So the Sodbusters going for the series win. Monday's game canceled, so we play 2 7-inning games today to decide the winner of this series before the Sodbusters will host the Oahe Zap on Friday. Coming up, we will have the post-game interview from assistant coach Vinny Carone and our Sodbuster Spotlight. It's Sodbuster newcomer Landon Gaz. We will have all that and more coming up on Sodbuster Baseball.
The Hastings Sodbusters getting set to go against the Nebraska Prospects, a doubleheader today. Sodbusters coming off a 15-8 win over the Prospects yesterday. Assistant coach Vinny Carone joined us after the contest. He talked about the keys to a 10-run 5th inning that turned the game around.
A lot of free bases from the other team. A lot of hit by pitches, a lot of walks, a lot of errors. But then we also, once we kind of had that happen, we loosened up and started hitting the ball at the plate. I think Marco Cabranes had a big 3-2 bases loaded, double down the line. I believe Nick Jones had a couple long 10-pitch at-bats for walks, and I think that was big for wearing out their starter and wearing out the next reliever that came in and getting on base. I think Jones also leaned into a pitch to get on base, so just did a lot of little things right, controlling the zone, getting on base with walks and hit by pitches, and then getting hits when we needed it.
Only 1 strikeout for the team today against a Prospect pitching staff which has been known for its strikeouts. How big was that, putting the ball in play and the approach at the plate, not trying to do too much?
Yeah, I think that's big. Obviously, you play at Duncan Field. You're not going to hit many home runs. There's no point in having big swings. And then when you put the ball in play, good things happen. And obviously, it's a very good team, very good ball club. They've had our number so far this year, but everybody's human. They made 3, maybe 4 errors. Even you could have given them an extra one. And we had a couple easy seeing eye singles that went our way just because we're not trying to do too much, like you said. We're just putting the ball in play. And I think that's actually been a little bit of a strength all year. I don't think our strikeout numbers have been extraordinarily high, but when you play 9 innings, you only strike out 1 time. Odds are you're going to have a lot of good things happening on the base paths.
So you come into the game on a 6-game skid. You've lost 11 of 12. And then you go out and blow the best team in the Independence League out of the water here tonight. How much confidence does that give you guys going forward for the rest of the series and the summer?
I think that's big, especially we've had leads in games and then kind of blew them at the end. And part of it's pitching staff being weak on the back end, just kind of low in numbers. And part of it's just not scoring runs later in games. We've scored them early but haven't scored them late. So I think this gives us some confidence, some belief in ourselves. And I think that's the biggest thing that this team lacks is just that belief that we're going to pull through in the end. So I think this is good, especially being a good team, like you said, one of the best in the league. And we can see we can score runs at any point, and we can put up a lot of runs at any point if we just do those things, put the ball in play, take our walks, take our hit by pitches, not try and do too much. That seems to be the key to the success.
Tanner Johnson, his best outing of the year. Talk a little bit about his performance today to not only save the rest of the bullpen, to pick up a win, and to put a lot of zeros on the board against a very good hitting Nebraska Prospects team.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job as of late. He's gotten in trouble only when he walks guys, and I think even the one inning that he had a little bit of rough go, that was the result, or that was the cause of the result, was walking guys. But for 4 or 5 innings, he came out and got ahead of hitters. He threw all 3 pitches for a strike. His changeup at the end was very, very nasty, and that's probably his best pitch, but he doesn't always have control over it and command of it, and that's when he gets in trouble. So it was good to see him come out, just throw strikes when we had the bases loaded, get a couple pop-ups, make it simple, and that's the thing. Just like our approach at the plate, the pitchers need to make it simple. Just throw your pitches, execute them. Don't try to throw harder than you can throw. Don't try to put more spin on a pitch that you can't put spin on. Just be yourself, and that's going to be enough to get outs, because other guys are going to make outs for you.
And you're the pitching coach. I mean, what have you seen out of Tanner in terms? It seems like he's got the stuff to get guys out if he just throws strikes.
Yeah, I think for him, he's just been very poised all along, and that's why we have trust in him. A lot of guys get frazzled when they walk 1 or 2 guys, and he doesn't like it, obviously, but he doesn't lose his cool. He has command of himself, and that allows him to come back and command the zone too. So I think the biggest thing for him is just that attitude and that perseverance. Even if I'm going to give up 1 hit, even if I walk 1 guy, I'll come out and get the next guy. Even if the bases are loaded and there's nobody out, I can come in and get a few outs and keep us in the ball game, and hopefully the offense does the rest. He just worries about his job and he executes, and that's why he's been successful.
Hastings pitching coach Vinny Carone after a 15-8 win over the Nebraska Prospects. Same 2 teams getting set to go for a doubleheader today. This is Sod.
It is the Sodbuster Spotlight as we have an opportunity to feature Landon Gaz, California guy who's made his way to Hastings. Talk a little about your journey to becoming a Sodbuster.
It started a lot off with me bugging my college coach, was asking to come play summer ball, and finally after about 2-3 months of me nonstop texting him, he found me a spot on the Hastings Sodbusters, so that's how I came out here.
Had you heard anything about this league, about this summer program, and what did you know about Hastings, Nebraska before you made your way here?
I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't know anything about the league. I got sent the link to the team website, and I clicked on it, and all I knew was I was going to be in Nebraska wearing green and gold. So.
And you got in with your high school season. You joined the team a little bit late. How did your high school season go?
High school was good. We ended up being first-round exits of the playoffs, and we had a good run for the guys we had, and we ended up playing a really good team, the number 1 team in Division II, actually, so it was kind of a bummer.
Tell us a bit about your high school. I mean, is it a big school? Where did you go?
So Moore Park itself isn't that big of a town, but I probably graduated with close to 400 seniors. So It's definitely not the biggest school, but it's just a typical high school that everyone in the city went to. So,
An opportunity to come out to Nebraska. What's been your early impressions here? You've been a month in Nebraska. What's it like compared to home?
it's hard to say because I don't have a car out here, so I can't go around and do much. But one of the cool things about being out here was being able to go to the College World Series. That was pretty awesome. It's just a different experience out here than California, that's for sure.
What's been different?
The humidity is very humid, and it's weird to just have random lightning storms all the time. And in California, we never get that. So that's two big differences, I'd say.
We're talking with Landon Gaz. He is a Californian and has done a nice job for the Hastings Sodbusters multi-hit game after we talked to him. And as far as an opportunity to see college-level pitching, how much fun has that been this summer to get not only just you get a chance to see a lot of potential D1 guys, how big of an adjustment has that been this summer?
I feel like I've been well prepared to come out here just because being on a good travel team and just always playing up, I've always faced more advanced pitching, and it's definitely been an eye-opener coming out here and knowing all the arms that are even in D2, D3, and JUCOs, because it's a lot more talent than I expected, but these guys compete out here, and it's definitely a good rest for me.
Is there any specific areas you're looking to improve on at the plate or defensively?
Right now at the plate, I'm just trying to really figure out my swing, and I tend to go the opposite way a lot, and that sometimes comes back at me and haunts me, but definitely defensively too. I'm trying to become a very plus defender, and maybe, I don't know about this summer, but eventually get some outfield reps or something just to have more utility under my belt.
We've pretty much seen you at first base. Was that your position in high school, or did you play a variety of positions there at Moore Park?
So at Moore Park, I was first base and a catcher, and I would catch probably every 2 games just to give myself a rest. Over the years, because I got moved up to varsity my sophomore year, we had a Division I guy behind the dish, so for 2 years I got most of my reps at first base and very rarely caught, but it's definitely something that I could do.
Talking with Landon Gaz, he is our Sodbuster Spotlight. And the guys, have you made some potential lifelong friends here with your summer relationships?
I have. First of all, my roommate Zach, he's a really cool dude, and I'm glad that he's there with me to kind of guide me and stuff, and he's an older guy. It kind of sucks, but Grant, he left. He was one of my closer friends too, and a lot of the other guys are leaving, but I feel very tight and close with this group of guys, and I feel like everyone I get along with, and it's been a very fun summer so far. Same with the coaching staff.
Getting ready to go for college, UC Irvine. What were some of your options, and why did you choose to be an anteater?
I didn't actually have a ton of options. I was really just trying to put myself out there, and I was getting looked at by multiple schools, but the biggest school that was looking at me was UC Irvine, and they happened to come to a game where I went 4 for 4 and hit the crap out of the ball. So I ended up going down to Irvine that weekend, and they gave me the offer, and it was kind of well, here's the offer, get back to us as soon as possible. So I wasn't going to deny the Division I offer, and that's also just such a good program in school. I was sold instantly.
What about academically? What's potential college plan? I know change your major about 3 times if you're an average college kid, but you know at least plan A heading into college.
So right now I've signed up for a business major, and I got in. That's definitely still something that's up in the air because I'm not fully sure what I want to do yet with in my future, but I figure that's a pretty basic, major that I could kind of do anything with. So that's my goal, is kind of to be open-minded and figure out what I want to do.
It's been fun to follow the progress of Landon Gaz. He's our Sodbuster Spotlight. I'm Steve Stein.
Steve Stein with Landon Gaz on our Sodbuster Spotlight, one of handful of California kids spending their summer in Hastings with the Sodbusters. Gaz, he's a guy who enjoys hitting at home. He's got a 224 average, but hitting over 300 at home. One of the statistical anomalies there, as a lot of Sodbusters have struggled at home, but they have found their ways as of late. And for last night's game, that was the offense. It was an onslaught from the 5th inning on, 10 runs in the 5th inning, added on 2 more in the 6th, and the rest is history as the Sodbusters beat the Prospects for the first time today. Steve, I don't know how surprised you were as I am. It was a 7-2 game after the 4th inning. It looked like that one really was about to unravel, but the Sodbusters bounced back nicely, and hopefully they have some confidence going into this game today.
And you hope they didn't use all their offense, although keep in mind it is going to be a really tough challenge today, as Joel Benish may be the best player on this very, very talented Nebraska prospects squad. Tremendous pitcher, and he doesn't hit much. He leads them in home runs. I don't even know if that's just a bizarre thing. He's played like under 10 games, and he has 3 home runs this year. Just kind of threw him in as an afterthought in terms of a batter, and he had a huge game against Hastings in one of his matchups this year, so it's going to be really tough. That was one great thing about yesterday. The Sodbusters, they probably weren't facing the best starter, did a great job of working the pitch count, got to the bullpen, and once they got to the bullpen, put that double-digit number on the board, and that really changed the game plan for Trevor Varley. So Varley used none of his high-profile, high-leverage guys. If you can find a way to do that again today in one of the other games, maybe you stay away from some of those big bullpen guys who are throwing upper 80s or lower 90s, but that's easier said than done.
That's been the theme for the previous 3 games for the Sodbusters, just running into buzzsaws in that prospect bullpen, guys throwing upper 80s and some even into the 90s. Sodbusters having troubles catching up there, but it'll be an interesting game to see how the Sodbusters line up against Joel Benish. Benish on the year has been a 2-way player. You can count a couple handfuls of players who've been 2-way players on the team. Benish just making his 2nd appearance, but he is going to be on the mound today. When his last appearance against the Sodbusters, pitched very well, and he's also hit well today too. His last time he came into the batting order batting .222 and raised his batting average up to .357. Kind of a crazy game to go around. So starting lineups now for your Hastings Sodbusters and Nebraska prospects. But first we will go down to the field for our national anthem in advance of Game 1 of this 7-inning, 2-game doubleheader.
Will be performed by Ava. Yes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
There's Ava with our national anthem here ahead of Game 1 at Duncan Field. This is Ryan Valenta, Steve Stein, bringing you Game 2 of 3 of the 3-game series versus the Nebraska Prospects. Marcus Miller on the mound for the Sodbusters, and Sodbuster newcomer doing the catching is Tyler Kistler, a Hastings College guy, so him and Joel Skipper know each other well. A little bit of a defensive replenishment for the Sodbusters, as they have lost a few players here in the late goings of the season, so trying to fill those holes any way they can, and Kistler, the newcomer, on the roster. Let's take you through starting lineups first for the visiting prospects who will bat first. Danny Spongberg will lead off and play center field. Trey Mungin at second base. Cole Kitchens, who pitched in relief last night, plays third base today. 4, 5, and 6 are Sid DeMeo, Jake Henry Williams, and Caden Young. DeMeo and Williams seeing their first action in the series. 7, 8, and 9 is Jackson Trout, Tucker Bradley, and Nathan Cunningham. And they will send Joel Benish to the mound in the bottom of the first inning. For Marcus Miller, he's had an up and down year. He's on a good trend right now. His last outing, was a tough luck loser against Fremont on Independence Day, pitched 7 amazing innings, only allowing 1 run. Unfortunately, the Sodbuster bullpen not able to hold that lead. So for Miller, he gets the start on the mound. And Steve, we've seen Marcus use that fastball and that slow curveball to get hitters off stride. And for the prospects, last time they saw him, timed him up pretty well. So your opinion, what's Marcus got to do today to be successful on the mound?
He needs to be who he was in his last outing against Fremont. Hit his spots, get strike one. That is the thing that was so key. He worked ahead of all the hitters. The biggest stat for him that day, allowing just 1 run. No walks to go along with 9 strikeouts. You don't expect him to be a strikeout guy, and he doesn't have to strike out 9, but if he can just find a way to put it in the zone early, he's got a chance.
And in the zone early is Miller as he delivers first pitch foul ball to Danny Spongberg. Sodbusters, their win yesterday improved to 8-28. The prospects fall to 21-5. Sodbusters in their royal green today as their strike 2, home plate umpire Jake Yeager and field umpire Frank Williams. So Miller quickly ahead, 0-2. The left-hander from the windup and spoils that pitch. Spongberg hits that out of play. Sodbusters just picking up their 3rd win last night at home. In 8 wins, they've won 3 times at home, 5 times on the road. And they snapped a 6-game skid last night. And this is also a team that had lost 11 of their last 12, so hopefully things are looking up here. That is line to Chavez right there, and he makes the grab for out number 1. Hard hit ball, but right to Anthony Chavez, and there's 1 up and 1 down.
Gotta love that start. How many times when Miller got roughed up by the prospects, just little bloopers to the outfield. They're probably hit it harder in that one than they did any time against Miller when they put up a bunch of runs against him, and that's an out.
Here's Trey Mungin. Mungin did not start yesterday's game, but came on as a pinch hitter and defensive replacement. First pitch breaking ball gets the call, and Trey Mungin, I believe, is the beer batter for game 1. Well, Miller will try to make quick work of him. Fly ball to the right side, but it gets out of play towards the concession stand. Mungin yesterday in his 2 plate appearances went 1 for 2, flew out and singled in the 8th. Mungin bats here with 1 out here in top of the 1st. Miller delivers, swing and a miss. Got him on 3 pitches as Mungin is struck out, and first strikeout for Marcus Miller. Great fastball on the inside part and no chance to make contact there for Mungin.
And how about that reduced price alcohol, the second batter of the game? It's a 7-inning contest. Another game to follow. Folks can really start, putting a big party hat on here early in the day.
So Sodbusters now face Cole Kitchens, who takes a breaking ball in the inner half for strike 1. And Miller finding the strike zone early. 0-1 to Kitchens. Fouled out of play.
Hey, y'all. Our fearless leader, Scott, has let us know that if you want
So
to
0-2 count.
it's on him right now.
And Marcus Miller
So I'll talk to you.
strike away from a 1-2-3 inning here. Kitchens the batter, the 0-2, swing and a miss. Miller strikes out 2 in the inning, and the prospects go quietly. Miller picking up where he left off in his last start. He's done good so far. Sodbusters will try to get on the board first in the bottom of the 1st. Sodbusters set down the prospects in order in first inning as Sodbusters come to bat here in the bottom of the first. Sodbuster lineup. First three batters, newcomer Taylor Gill, who had a nice night, picked up 2 hits in his Sodbuster debut. Lane Shires bats second. He had a multi-hit game last night. And Cale Jensen, the 3-hole hitter, 4, 5, and 6. Marcos Cabranes playing at second base today. He caught last night. Nick Jones in his usual 5-hole at the designated hitter position. Anthony Chavez playing third base, batting 6th. Landon Gaz playing first, batting 7th. Newcomer Tyler Kistler will bat 8th and doing the catching, and Josh Prinner moves down to the 9-hole and is at shortstop today. Joel Benish on the mound for the Prospects, and he will look to continue his winning ways here. On the mound, Benish making his 4th start. Last time out 9 days ago against the Oahe Zap, where he pitched a complete game shutout with 15 strikeouts in 9 innings. So he's hot right now. Sodbusters will try to cool that left arm off. First pitch to Gill is a fastball called strike on the outer half of the plate. Was looking at the stats to see how he did against the Sodbusters last time, and my eyes went to the 9-inning game. So Benish really turned it on against the Zap, as Gill fouls that off for strike 2. Against the Sodbusters on June the 20th, he started and pitched 7 innings, got the win, and he also pitched a 7-inning shutout, just allowing 2 hits, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts.
His strikeout numbers, 31 to 4 walks. You like that ratio?
Yeah. I'd want that on my mound if I was Trevor Varley. Breaking ball is spiked in the dirt. Good block from Tucker Bradley. Bradley, the backstop today. He had the day off yesterday. So Gill now with a 1-2 count. And just got a piece of that, and that got a piece of the home plate umpire, Jake Yeager, who appears none the worse for it. So the count remains at 1-2. Infield for the Prospects, Cole Kitchens, Nathan Cunningham on the left side, Trey Mungin and Caden Young on the right side. Ground ball weakly to second base. There is Mungin. He charges in and flips to first for the out. And Taylor Gill is retired. There's 1 up and 1 down, and a good start for both starting pitchers, retiring the leadoff man.
That's exactly what Gill did yesterday. A ground out to the second baseman. Actually, grounded out to the first baseman yesterday, but a ground ball to the right side. But he ended up getting a multi-hit game before it was all said and done. And don't let a slow start fool you, because it was a slow start offensively for both teams yesterday, and then the offenses came to rule.
Shires into center field, and that'll drop for a base hit. Shires with another hit. He had 2 hits last night and picks up a single, first pitch swinging there, as Shires is on with 1 out. Don't want to get too deep in the count and get that breaking ball, and Shires picked a good pitch.
And Shires, here was a guy, he was struggling around 100 early in the summer, and he raised his batting average 21 points yesterday, and it'll go up a few more points, 241 coming into today.
So Shires has found it as of late. He's at first with 1 out. Here's Cale Jensen. Takes the breaking ball low and away. 1-0 to Jensen. Jensen, a later addition to the roster. 36 games. He's played in 26 of them as he takes ball 2 up high. Jensen came to Duncan Field in a big way in his first start at Duncan Field. He was the first man to hit a home run at Duncan Field this year, and he did it in his first game. 2-0, outside for ball 3. So Benish has missed with 3 straight, and like Steve mentioned, only walked 4 guys on the year. So walks not playing into the mentality of Benish, but he's 1 pitch away. Fastball's right there for strike 1, so Jensen, if he had the take sign, that should be off now, as he still remains ahead 3-1. Pitch to him is fouled off to the left side, and good bounce back from Benish to work the count full.
That foul ball is brought to you by Nebraska Land Distributing. Colt Beers,
Jake Henry Williams in left field, Danny Spongberg in center field, and Jackson Trout in right field for the Prospects. Payoff Ground ball to first and through for a base hit. Shires hits the bag. He heads for third, and he will make it standing up with no throw. Cale Jensen with a single moves Shires to third, and the Sodbusters have some life in the first inning. They have runners on the corners with one out.
Benish allowing 2 hits in 7 innings against the Sodbusters last time out. Sodbusters get 2 hits in their first 3 plate appearances here today. Isn't that baseball?
Sodbusters did their homework and figured out what Joel Benish was throwing. And here's the guy you want at the plate, Marcos Cabranes. 3 hits for him last night, improves his average to 286, team leader in hits on the season with 36. First pitch to him is a ball down and in. Cabranes also leads the team with 29 runs scored and 9 hit batsmen. Had a quiet series against Badland, just 1 hit in 10 tries, but he breaks that out in a big way. Pitch just misses outside for the count to go to 2-0. We got Shires on third. He advanced on the man at first, Cale Jensen, single to right field. Sodbusters threatening. Smoke to left field. Henry Williams going way back, and he makes the catch. Shires tags and will score, and Jensen has to retreat back to first. That is a loud out. Marcos Cabranes smiling, thinking he might have had one in any other ballpark, but credit to Jake Henry Williams in left field for running that one down. But the Sodbusters strike first. They lead 1-0.
Fundamental baseball, like you said, it's probably a double or a triple against most other outfielders. That was a tremendous play just to get there. It's a home run at a lot of ballparks, but it is an RBI. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Sodbusters get it done.
So for the second straight game, the Sodbusters take an early lead as they had 2 runs early in game 1 yesterday before they fell behind, but ultimately came back to win. So the offense showing up here in this series as Nick Jones fouls that back. And count goes to 1-1. Jones been pretty much relegated to the designated hitting role. We've seen him catch earlier in the season, but has been the designated hitter since. Smack to center field. Spongberg is there, comes a few steps in, and makes the grab for out number 3. Sodbusters set down the order in the first, and they score first. In the first, they lead 1-0. Sodbusters back out on the field right after this. Sodbusters score 1 in the first. They lead 1-0 here against the Prospects in game 2. Marcus Miller back out on the mound. We mentioned he's got to throw strike 1 to the batters, but he's done more than that, Steve.
Well, he's thrown strike 10. 10 pitches in the first inning. All of them were strikes, and you just wonder, okay, can you bottle what you did in your last game and come out and duplicate it? And, of course, it's a long old day at the ballpark, you hope, but he looks just as sharp as he was in the matchup against Fremont. And here's 2 tremendous hitting teams. I mean, Fremont finds a way to score a lot of runs. This Nebraska prospect squad, they saw their team batting average drop to 291 yesterday, so they're plenty talented. Can Miller keep it going? We'll find out.
Miller's first pitch just missed upstairs. That looked pretty good, but breaking ball just does not come down in the zone. So 1-0 to Sid DeMayo. He hits that to center field. Shires racing in, and he won't get there. It falls in front of him for a base hit. And Sid DeMayo, the Nebraska Omaha guy, he puts one second pitch he sees into center field, and there's the first hit and base runner of the game for the Prospects.
And it was those kind of at-bats that just killed Marcus Miller the first time against that Nebraska Prospect squad. Just put bat on ball and got a lot of shallow singles to really put the pressure on Miller. Can Marcus come back and get through this inning unscathed?
Jake Henry Williams bats with nobody out. Swinging first pitch to Gaz at first, but that is a foul ball just to the right of the bag. Tough call there, but Jake Yeager got it right. That was inches away from being possibly a double play, but one out for sure.
Yeah, you would have taken, even if you couldn't have gotten the out at second, you'd have taken that first pitch out against Jake Henry Williams, a guy who's certainly capable on that weak grounder, but now going to have to work a little harder here, as Williams another one of those two-way players and has been very solid at the plate.
Henry Williams played in the last series against the Sodbusters, went 0 for 4 as he sprays that out of play. Miller ahead 0-2. Miller's delivered strike one to 4 of the first 5 batters.
And the only batter he didn't got a hit. How important is strike one? It's pretty important.
Seems like it correlates. Lefty's ready. Delivers. Ground ball to Chavez. Gets a good hop. Over to second. Cabranes to first. Double play. Chavez, Cabranes, and Gaz make that 5-4-3 on the scorebook. And the leadoff single is erased. And there's quickly 2 outs. Great play by Chavez and the guys all around.
Yeah, Chavez has just looked so comfortable at third base. The more he plays there this summer and just kind of owns that position. And a perfect throw and a tremendous turn. They got to love Marcos Cabranes when he has a chance to play second to gun it over to get out a pretty good runner, Jake Henry Williams. We saw his speed defensively in the bottom of the last inning.
And first pitch swinging. Caden Young to center. Shires. Got it. Nice, easy inning for Miller. He got the leadoff single erased with a double play, and he's faced the minimum through 2 innings. Sodbusters looking for more. They're coming to bat in the bottom of the second. Sodbusters looking for more here at Duncan Field as they take a 1-0 lead into the second inning here against Joel Benish and the Prospects. The bottom of the second inning. Sodbusters getting that early run just like they did last night. Sodbusters on the winning end of a 15-8 game last night, and for the Prospects, they lost to just their 3rd different team last night. And this is a good Prospects team. A lot of D1 guys on the team. They had a 14-game win streak at one point into the season. And Fremont was the start and end of that win streak. So it seemed like the Moo were the only team that could tame the Prospects, who ironically aren't even eligible for the postseason playoffs. They've been beating just about everybody, but will not see postseason action. Anthony Chavez takes strike one, the breaking ball from Benish. Chavez with a good day yesterday, 3 singles in his time at the plate yesterday. He faces an 0-1 count. Off speed, misses outside for ball 1. Chavez leading the team in doubles, but took the 3 singles last night, no problem. He bats here with the bases empty in the second. Fastball's high for ball 2. So both lefties on the mound. working today, and Benish has missed the zone a little bit more than the Sodbuster starter. There's ball 3 outside. So that fastball has been wild. The breaking ball's looked pretty good so far. We'll see with what the defense comes up with here. Chavez swings and hits it weakly to short. Cunningham charges in, fires to first in time for out number 1. And Chavez is retired, and 2 straight leadoff men have been retired for the Sodbusters.
You mentioned it, Benish maybe not quite as sharp as he was the last time out. 21 pitches thrown, 12 of them strikes, while Miller, that lone ball was the 1-0 count against Mayo. He's 15 out of 16 in the zone through the first 2 innings.
Now batting our Sodbuster spotlight of the day, Landon Gaz. Takes strike 1, just graduated from Moore Park High School in California. As you heard in the pregame interview, was annoying Scott for months trying to come play here and finally got his wish, as he was a later addition to the rosters. Those California kids are always doing something into June, so he had to wait a couple weeks, but he's been a healthy addition to the Sodbuster roster. Ground ball to short, backhanded by Cunningham, over to first in time. And Cunningham has been good on his 2 chances, 2 up and 2 down.
Yep, 2 very solid plays as he's looked good over there. See if he can hit it somewhere else, or better yet, somewhere they're not.
And here is Tyler Kistler. So 2nd day in a row, Sodbuster has made their debut. Kistler, a Hastings College guy. Played for Joel Skipper last year. Kistler, a senior from LaSalle, Colorado. And he takes ball 1 up high. Kistler is a .244 hitter in 45 games this spring with 9 RBIs. As he grounds out to the left side, it's going to be Cunningham again. Long throw, but just in time. And the Sodbusters go down 1-2-3 on 3 groundouts to shortstop. It's still 1-0. Sodbusters lead after 2. 3rd inning coming up. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Sodbusters leading 1-0, and for Marcus Miller, has been pretty darn good so far, and unlike his counterparts on the mound in Joel Benish, he's filled up the strike zone early and often, and he seems in prime position to keep going here for as many innings as they need to this inning.
And you certainly hope that they can do that. 7-inning contest. You want to get off to a good start, and Hastings did that, to getting a run on 2 hits in the first. A sacrifice fly for Marcos Cabranes, scoring Lane Shires from 3rd. And meanwhile, Marcus Miller, 15 out of 16 in the zone, as he'll face the bottom of the order here in the 3rd inning. Trout, Bradley, and Cunningham, as we're at Duncan Field. 367 down the right field line, 370 to left, 405 to the alleys, 408 to straightaway center, with a light breeze blowing from the left field corner to the right field corner as Jackson Trout steps into the right-handed box. And Trout, 4 for 11 against Hastings this year, went 1 for 2 yesterday, a .318 hitter. Leads the team with 21 runs batted in. He's scored 17 times. He's also perfect in stolen bases, 4 for 4. This prospect squad outstanding in that category, 54 out of 57 for the season. Pitch is taken for a strike, no balls and 1 strike, as Miller just razor sharp here in the early going. And love the zone for home plate umpire Jake Yeager to this point. Miller is painting the corners right now. 0-1 delivery, and that's strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on Jackson Trout for the Nebraska Prospects, who come in with a team batting average of .291. Sodbusters raised their average by 7 points yesterday, now .246 for the season for Hastings. 0-2 pitches, grounded back up the middle. Printer's got it. Goes behind the bag, sets some throws and couldn't get there. Just had a heck of a time getting the feet set, and decent speed for Trout. Beats out an infield single. Printer had to go a long way to get that one. There's a leadoff man aboard for the second straight inning for the Prospects.
Now, looks like Printer might have had a little trouble getting that out of his glove, too, in addition to setting those feet, Steve, and just had no chance to get him there. But Miller doing a nice job. He went with the inside fastball. All 3 pitches there. Got the ground ball that he wanted. It was just perfectly placed there for Trout.
Tucker Bradley comes to the plate now. He's the starting catcher for the Nebraska Prospects. 7-2 in the second half standings are the Prospects, and 21-5 on the year. And the first pitch is looped toward left field. That's a base hit. So 2 semi-weak hits, but both of them are in there, and back-to-back singles. The Prospects with their 7 and 8 batters aboard, with Nate Cunningham coming to the plate.
That was the opposite of the theme of the game last night. Prospects with just 8 hits and 6 of them coming from the top 3 guys in the lineup. So the bottom of the order needed to come through, and they've done that here in their first time through.
First and second, nobody out as Miller facing his first real jam, and we'll see what Cunningham's doing in the 9 spot. He is taking that one, did not square to bunt at all. 1 ball and no strikes on Nate Cunningham. Cunningham 294 for the summer season and 333 against the Sodbusters, 4 out of 12, including 0 for 1 yesterday with a run scored. Off-speed pitch, curves outside, and a rare time today, just the second time in 9 batters. Miller is behind in the count, and it's the first 2-ball count for Marcus Miller. Miller, the left-hander out of Hastings High, the Hastings College product, pitching to his Hastings College teammate behind home plate. Big swing, no contact. 2 balls and no strikes as that off-speeder about 68 miles an hour. He's gone as low as 57 today, has Marcus Miller. And that's one danger with that lack of velocity. Watch out for the Prospects on the bases to try to steal. Even with runners at first and second, could definitely be a candidate to try to steal third here, especially with a right-handed hitter there. We will see a visit to the mound from the catcher as Tyler Kistler going to come out and visit with his college teammate. Make sure they're all on the same page, particularly that runner at second, maybe sensing a sign-stealing episode going on right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, 3rd inning. Sodbusters on top 1-0, 1 run on a couple of hits. The Hastings Sodbusters and the Nebraska Prospects have back-to-back hits, and they now have 3 in the game. Here's the pitch. Off speed, stayed high. 3-2. Big pitch coming up early in this game. Don't want to walk the bases loaded with the top of the order coming up. An infield single for Trout. A bloop single for Bradley. 1-0, but Prospects have been plenty good at scoring runs this year against most teams, including the Hastings Sodbusters. 3-2 pitch inside for ball 4. And now it gets a little tougher for Miller to try to minimize the damage here with Sponberg, Mungin, and Kitchens coming up, and now seeing him for the second time.
Now Miller went to that inside fastball again, just not able to locate that one. It's been polar opposite here in the 3rd inning. Miller's got to settle down, pump that ball in the zone, and let your defense work behind you. They've been great so far.
This Prospect squad, we talked about how good they have been this season. First pitch to Sponberg is a cross for strike, no balls and 1 strike. Sponberg probably has the most solidly struck ball for the Prospects today, but that was an out on the first at bat of the game as he lined it to Chavez. You'd take something similar right here as long as it's at somebody. Bases loaded, nobody out. Sodbusters playing back. This is a rocket to left field. Cale Jensen going back, makes the catch. Runner at third will tag. Sponberg gets the job done as he has 2 solidly struck balls, 1 for an out, this one for a sac fly. As the liner to left will score Jackson Trout. Bradley hangs on at second, Cunningham at first. So there's 1 large out here in inning number 3, and it's a 1-1 tie.
Still no hit for Spongberg in the series, but second RBI as he drove in a run in the similar fashion last night to right field. So good situational hitting by him, knows what he's got to do, doesn't have to do too much. Just get it in the outfield and get that run home. Now the Prospects still have a good chance here to put out another one.
Here comes Trey Mungin, 5 for 12 against the Sodbusters, went 1 for 2 as he came in as a reserve and got a hit. Had a 4-hit game against the Sodbusters, and he drills this one to left center field gap. Could be trouble. Jensen on the run, makes the catch. Mungin right on the button against Miller. Back-to-back flyouts to left, and there are 2 outs with runners at first and second and a 1-1 tie.
That's just a great play by Jensen there with the sun shining, a little bit partly cloudy here, but able to keep that ball out of the sun and track it down. He had to go a little ways to track that one down, but nice play and keep the runners put.
Cole Kitchens will come to the plate now. Kitchens has been dynamite against the Sodbusters, 6 out of 10. Didn't hit yesterday, but he came in as a relief pitcher. Sodbusters got to him a little bit. Pitch across for strike, no balls and 1 strike. Kitchens struck out his first time up. Yesterday going 3 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs on 6 hits. Struck out 1 and walked 2 as the Sodbusters got some add-on runs against him to increase their lead and went on to a 15-8 victory. 0-1 pitch is off the outside corner for a ball. How much of a misnomer was that? You have the Sodbusters picking up their 8th win of the year, just the 5th loss for the Prospects. Now the Nebraska Prospects, they had allowed double-figure scoring 4 previous times. They were 2-2 in those games. That's how good the offense has been for the Prospects this year. 1-1 pitch is hit hard to left field. A long run for Jensen, and he is going to dive and not get there. 1 run will score. Here comes his second run home, and scooting at his second base is Cole Kitchens with a 2-out double. The Prospects with a large 2-out hit as they have 3 on the board and now take their first lead of 3-1.
It's that close for Cale Jensen in left field, but great hit by Kitchens. Waited on that breaking ball and pulled that to left field. So this inning, the Prospects have figured something out on that breaking ball. They have solidly struck that this inning, and I don't mind the dive from Jensen there. 2 runs probably might score anyways, but you're trying to make that 3rd out and get your pitcher out of the inning.
Sid DeMeo up there now. He had the first hit of the game, a single, but was erased on a double play grounder, and he takes strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Talked about that 15-8 win yesterday. Say the Prospects have given up double figures just 5 times this year. The Sodbusters scored double figures in an inning, scoring 10 runs in a frame as part of that win. Like I said, statistical anomalies big time in that one against the Sodbusters, which have been in the bottom of the Independence League, and the Nebraska Prospects have been dynamite, even though they're not going to be in the postseason. They are rock solid and 21-5 on the year. You take a similar type game today, or just score 1 more run somehow against this very good team. Here's a high fly ball center field. Shire's fading back. He's got it measured, and he will make the catch out in center. But the Prospects do get it done as the sacrifice fly from Sponberg, 2-run double from Kitchens, and the Prospects have their first lead. It's 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd, and this is Sodbuster Baseball. After Marcus Miller threw 16 pitches the first 2 innings, he was laboring through 19 pitches in the 3rd, and now the Prospects have the lead over the Hastings Sodbusters by a score of 3-1. Joel Benish now working with that lead. He's been so tough this year. The Sodbusters have already gone against script with that first inning run. Benish came into today with an ERA of 0.88. So he's probably given up his allotment of runs if he can continue this current pace. Now, you would think that he'll be human at some point this summer, and if he just has an ERA of somewhere around 3, the Sodbusters are due to get maybe 4 or 5 more right here. But Benish has been so good. University of Nebraska Omaha guy, Norris High School graduate. And he is set to face the Sodbusters 9-1-2, Josh Printer, Tater Gill, and Lane Shires. Shires got the first hit against Benish, and he has scored the lone run. Printer, shortstop for the Sodbusters, standing in the right-handed box against the lefty Joel Benish. Benish brings home the first one, and it's across for strike. No balls, one strike, and Benish hitting about 84 miles an hour on his fastball here today. No balls and a strike on Josh Printer. Pitch is taken way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Printer. Coming into today, a batting average of .248, 5 doubles. He's knocked in 7 and scored 20 times. He's tied for first on the team with 8 stolen bases. And a multi-hit game yesterday, 2 for 5, 2 runs scored. Fouls the pitch back, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Josh Printer, one of the several guys who had multi-hit contests as the Sodbusters pounded out 17 hits to just 6 for the Nebraska prospects. Bouncing ball, left side, could be trouble. Nice dig for the third baseman, and what a play there for Cole Kitchens as he got that short hop on his left side and was able to gun down Printer. A nice play there for the first out here in the third.
Might have to check Kitchens' glove at third base. Looked like he had a vacuum in that thing. That thing just scooped up into the webbing, and the gun over there to first. Great play by Kitchens at third.
So all the middle infielders and one of your corner infielders have made good plays. Ground out to the second baseman, 3 to the shortstop, and 1 to the third baseman. So Sodbusters see what they can get done with the top of the order. Tater Gill, who grounded out to second his first time up. Gill joining the team recently and got his first start yesterday. Division I prospect has signed with the University of Ohio after a successful career at Northeast Community College. Pounds this one foul. The count, no balls and 2 strikes on Taylor Gill for the Hastings Sodbusters. 2 for 6, 2 runs scored and a stolen base. Really love to get him on there. Looks like he has got some nice wheels and can cause some problems at the top of the order. But does not make contact here. 3 pitches and a strikeout, the first of the game for Joel Benish. 2 outs in the inning for Lane Shires. A guy like Benish, sometimes you get to him early or you don't get to him at all, and now you just hope he's not in the zone as he has quickly set down 2 in a row in this inning and has now set down 7 straight. Shires wants to bunt here, pops it foul, no balls and 1 strike. A guy who's seeing about as well as anybody on the team right now is Lane Shires, the Kearney product, who's playing his college ball at Northwest Missouri State. No balls and a strike on Lane, potential exercise science major, and going into the pre-chiropractic program. 0-1 delivery, taken upstairs for a ball. Lane Shires, interestingly enough, did not play against the prospects any of the previous meetings until yesterday when he went 2 for 4. A couple of runs batted in and 3 runs scored as pitch is fouled away for 1 and 2. Shires was in a very crowded outfield rotation. Some of those guys are gone now, so Lane's pretty much the everyday center fielder after he took his little break from baseball there in June and comes back and pretty much finds the center field spot waiting for him. 1-2 pitch on the way, and Shires takes it inside, and it actually gets a piece of the jersey of Lane Shires. So Shires aboard for the second time. First free pass issued by Benish. It's a very cheap hit batsman, but by golly, you'll take it if you're Hastings and get a little speed on there. We'll see if they turn Lane loose with Cale Jensen coming to the plate.
Now that was a big problem for the prospects pitching staff last night, hitting batters. Last night they hit 5 batters, and that's something that you don't want to see there if you're Trevor Varley.
Benish brings home the pitch to Jensen, and Jensen takes the curveball for a strike. No balls, 1 strike on Jensen. Nice bender there, 72 miles an hour from Benish. As the Norris High School Titan brings it home. Big swing, no contact. Couldn't pull the trigger on that curveball. It's quickly 2 strikes on Jensen. 1 on, 2 outs, 3-1 prospects on top as they get 3 in the top of this frame and trying to put a 0 on the board with Benish. Here's another curve, and this is popped up by Jensen on the infield. Shortstop calls the third baseman off. No problem there for Nate Cunningham, and the Sodbusters are done in inning number 3. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We head to the 4th. Prospects 3, Sodbusters 1, and this is Sodbuster Baseball. Hastings Soundbusters on the short end, 3-1. Today's game brought to you by Fisk Chiropractic, the Nebraska Lottery, and Jerry Spady Chevrolet. Ryan Valenta is with us, along with Noah Pagel. Pagel, our producer-engineer today. Connor Christensen running the flight scope. Pass along some numbers as that's the crew working this doubleheader of Independence League Baseball, the Soundbusters and the Prospects, as we are in the first of a pair of 7-inning games. And it's going to be a right-handed hitter, Jake Henry Williams, to step in for the Prospects. He hit it hard his first time up. It grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the second inning. Marcus Miller back out there will throw his 36th pitch. And this one is fouled away. No balls and 1 strike on Jake Henry Williams. 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Prospects, reaching and scoring last inning. The infield single from Trout, little blooper from Bradley. Cunningham drew the walk. Sponberg a solidly struck sac fly, and then after Mungeon lined out, Cole Kitchens broke the Soundbusters' heart with a 2-run double to take the 3-1 lead. Miller brings it home, and this one's outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's Steve Stein, and Scott Galusha, owner general manager, has joined us here for the middle inning of this 7-inning contest.
Yep. Another beautiful day, a little warm out there, but always a good day for baseball. And we had a chance there. I mean, that would have been a heck of a play by Cale Jensen out there, but he just about got it. And unfortunately, that was a good break for them. He made 2 nice plays on the previous 2 balls, and unfortunately, we couldn't make that last one. But playing well again, having some pretty good at-bats and some opportunities against the Prospects.
As the 1-2 pitch is on the way, and that is high and outside for ball 2. Jake Henry Williams up there to be followed by Caden Young and Jackson Trout as the Prospects 7-2 in second half standings. Soundbusters with a tremendous performance yesterday, 10 runs in the 5th inning to turn a 5-run deficit into a 5-run lead. Ground ball to the left side. Printers got it. Throw to first in time. There's 1 out here in the 4th.
Yeah, just better defense all day. Matter of fact, the last couple of weeks we've just been getting better and better and better. So it's been nice to see. I love the fight of our kids. They just don't give up, and they just keep after it. And this is a really good team, and I'm happy with how we're competing. And I'm hoping. I think we can get 1 or 2 today. I feel like we got our arms are rested, and we're playing with a little bit of confidence, and those things help.
Caden Young with a first pitch foul ball. He flew out to center his first time up. And how big in so many ways was the performance of Tanner Johnson, not only just his effort, but eating up 5 innings, picks up the win in relief with a tremendous outing, and also saves the rest of the bullpen while closing things down, because I had a little flashback. You don't want to give up big leads, and it was great to see Johnson finish the deal, not have to go to any further in the bullpen, and just put the finishing touches on a game that seemed well in hand down the stretch.
Sure, that was a great performance by Tanner, and that's what we were hoping to see from Tanner, and he's been really good at times, but really inconsistent with his delivery. And it was really nice to see him have such a successful outing, and not a brief outing. Like you said, five plus innings, and I know he wasn't ready to go in the game when we had to go in. We didn't have any choice, and so hats off to him. Not only did he do a great job, he ate up a lot of innings, and I know he came in to pitch and he wasn't ready.
Here is Caden Young at the plate, and he grounds this one to the right side. Could be a tough play. Cabranes charging, dishing in time. Good job from Marcus. He knew he had to charge, was able to get it over to get out Young. 2 outs in the inning, and Jackson Trout will try to keep it going for the Nebraska Prospects.
Good job. Good start to the inning for Marcus, and we just got to get him to be okay with early contact. When he gets behind the count or has to throw something 3-2 or 3-1, these are too good of hitters to just put it in there. So I think we just our game plan with him is just to get it in there, get ahead, and take what we get from early pitch contact.
The 3 runs on the board. You feel bad for Marcus. I mean, Trout with an infield single, Bradley with a little blooper. Now, the top of the order hit it hard. The 2 lineouts to left before that Kitchens double, but Miller maybe deserved better than to give up 3 in that inning.
Yeah, he did. Like we said before, Cale Jensen made 2 pretty nice plays in left field on 2 balls that were hit pretty well. And he had to go a long way to have a chance for that one, and he got a glove on it, but it was just a little bit too much, a little bit too far away from him. A little disappointing because that was by far the least solid hit of the 3 there.
Yeah.
But it was in the right spot, and we just got to keep battling back now.
A rare 3-0 count. He did walk one man, and that was one of the painful moments of the third inning, walking the number 9 hitter to load the bases. And now he's 3-0 to Trout, and this pitch is off the inside corner. So the second walk of the game issued by Miller. He's got 2 strikeouts, did that back-to-back back in the first inning. 1 on, 2 outs. It's Nebraska 3 and Hastings 1.
Just drives me crazy. 2 quick outs. Everything is going good. You're having a good inning. And I don't know if you're trying to be too precise or what with the 9-hole hitter, but you can't walk the 9-hole hitter. They're 9-hole hitters for a reason, and you've just got to go after them and make them earn it. And that's twice in a row. 2-out walks are bad no matter when they are, but especially 2-out walks to the 9-hole.
Well, this was the 7-hitter this time. So
that was 9.
Well, the last time it was the Cunningham was the 9-hitter to load the bases. This time he gets 3-0 to Jackson Trout, who had the infield single his last time up, and now here's Tucker Bradley. And Bradley, big swing, no contact, no balls and 1 strike, but you're not keeping a book. So
I
that's
thought
I understand.
that's
totally
I was wrong. I thought I heard you say 7, 8, 9. That's why I thought it was. I wasn't listening good enough as I walked in. So
that's all right.
My bad. But still, 2-out walks after you had 2 quick outs. It just costs you so much. Never mind. There's a solid single to center, but never mind those things. It's just a matter of how many extra pitches you have to throw now.
Yep.
And stressful ones, because now there's a runner in scoring position, and you just got to make those guys in the lower half of the lineup or the bottom of the lineup make them earn it.
And Bradley's kind of taking the approach that this prospect squad had against Miller when they I'll say they lit him up, because they had a lot of hits just like that when they ended up beating the Sodbusters in the May 19th game, 14-5. It was just a lot of kind of contact, getting it to the outfield, and scored a heck of a lot of runs on that day as they had 19 hits.
Not a bunch of barrels, but just not trying to do too much and hit them where they ain't. That's how baseball works, and we kind of did that a little bit last night against them.
Yep.
But we've got to force early count action with Marcus up there.
And now Nate Cunningham up there again. He's yet to see a strike. He's the number 9 hitter, and he takes ball 1. Here's the pitch, and that's ball 2. So 3-0 the first time on the walk, and now 2-0. Now you can get mad, Scott. So they got.
I know they know who's up.
Yeah.
I know they know the lineup, but for as many games as I've coached, you know how painful it is when you don't even make that guy earn it, and then you turn that lineup over, and then you're just asking for trouble.
This one is struck solidly to the right center field gap. That is a long run, and that is going to be extra bases. 1 run will score, 2 runs are home, and Cunningham hits the second base bag and will head for 3. He's got a 2-run triple, so 2 up, 2 down, walk, single, triple. And the thing about the prospects, you say the number 9 hitter, but they've put some pretty good kids in the number 9 spot. That a lot of times they've been batting Sponberg in the number 9.
Yeah.
Nate Cunningham, the number 9 hitter, batting .294
Yes.
with 13 runs batted in, and he had a 3-hit game against the Sodbusters earlier this year, so he's pretty solid.
Again, 6 or 7 pitches, 2 outs, and then we walk a guy, and that's what happens. And then you have to come in there. We're down 2-0 again. That's a perfect spot to hit, and a good job by him taking advantage and a solidly struck ball to the gap.
And here's a shot down the left field line, but Danny Sponberg pulls that one foul, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Almost didn't recognize Danny Sponberg. He hasn't got the short shorts on today. I thought that's Danny Sponberg, but he's got more, I guess, the traditional-looking baseball attire.
Yeah, a little more traditional outfit today, but boy, he's quick. He's got a good first step, and he can really run.
And he can hit it, too. His batting average has dropped from 500 the last time we saw Sponberg. He's just a little over 400, and he bunts this one on the third base side. That is trouble, but foul. And that certainly would have been an infield single. Instead, it's no balls and 2 strikes. And Sponberg, after not having a hit yesterday, actually seeing his batting average dip to .382, still the best on the team, with a team best 11 stolen bases. Creighton Prep grad, and is now signed with Bellevue University, one of the NAIA powers.
Sure. He's going to be a really good player for them. He's a multi-tool guy. I mean, he can run. He's obviously a good hitter. You can't hit that number in this league accidentally. He's doing a really good job, and he might be better defensively than either one of those two. So he's a nice player and a good pickup for the guys in Bellevue.
So 3 straight have reached, 2 have scored. It's 5-1, and a swing and a miss. A good job for Miller to get it by Sponberg, but the damage is done. 2 runs on 2 hits, a man left. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's now 5-1 Prospects, and this is Sodbuster Baseball. We'll keep it right here, actually, since we've got Scott Galusha on, and I know you mentioned it yesterday. Doubleheader today, but then this weekend, a lot of fun happenings, and for folks watching and want to come out and be involved in Sodbuster Baseball this weekend, a pretty good weekend to do it.
It's the best weekend to do it. The weather looks like it's going to be good. We have 9 innings of winning on Friday. We have, I think $4,000 worth of stuff we're going to give away. We've got a $900 Traeger grill. We got $700-800 from Ken's Appliance. We've got 70-inch TV. We got tickets to Hamilton and Lincoln. We got Nebraska football tickets. So there's lots of good things. We sell raffles for those that night, and it should be a good crowd. Pre-sale on that is really good, and that's going to be the most fun night of the evening. We got the Zap in town for the weekend, so that this is the first time that team with that name is going to be here. So hopefully we'll show them exactly what Hastings Sodbuster Baseball is about. And then Saturday night, I think we have it may be just as big a crowd. We have 4 or 5 different groups in that night, and then we're going to do split the pot for the Children's Hospital that night as well. So, and again, Sunday night baseball good. We're still playing the evening on Sunday, so it'll be 3 great nights of baseball. So come on out.
And a lot of July baseball at home if you want to see some good competition. And the schedule is backloaded. I mean, oh my goodness! I think the Zap, the only team below 500 for the year that the Sodbusters play in the month of July at home with several games against the Prospects. You got the Badlands Big Sticks, and everybody kind of doing a little shudder. Tucker Bradley, throwing it down to second, nearly took out his pitcher as he then just pretty much hit the back of the pitcher's mound as Benish kind of ducked out of the way.
Yeah, I saw a lot of teeth, so he's kind of smiling at him, but that could have been bad. I've seen that happen before.
And fortunately, it would have been okay just to graze him a little bit, just to take him out of this game. It wouldn't have been the most disappointing thing for Sodbuster fans.
Just try to break up his rhythm a little bit, see what happened, because he's done a nice job. We had a good, nice first inning against him and good execution, but he's been pretty tough in the second and third.
And Cabranes up there, half-hearted swing, gets a piece of it, no balls and 1 strike on Marcos, who had a special day yesterday and got a sacrifice fly for the lone run batted in for the Hastings Sodbusters, and this one is Cabranes. 3 for 5, a triple, 6 runs batted in, and 2 runs scored in that 15-8 win over the Prospects.
The big one, Steve, was the initial 2-out single to get us on the board.
Yep.
And those are things that we just haven't done very good this year. And I just don't panic when, or I don't get worried about it when Marcos is down 2 strikes because he has a good approach.
2-1 the count on Marcos Cabranes, and grounds this one to the right side. Mungeon charges, throws to first in time, and the leadoff man is out here to open the bottom of the 4th.
Marcos and I talk about that quite often at BP. Didn't talk to him about it today, though. So sometimes he kind of feels for it and reaches for it a little bit. If he would just trust his hands and not worry about what's happening and just attack the baseball, good things happen. But that was sort of I don't want to strike out, kind of reaching, feeling for it, and typically that doesn't go real well.
Nick Jones at the plate now, solid .262 this year. So he went 1 for 3, a run batted in and a run scored, but that really doesn't tell the story. Jonesy, he probably saw about 40 pitches during his at-bats yesterday. His first 2 at-bats, I think, were both double digits, and was almost the guy who single-handedly knocked out their starter just because of pitch count those first 3 innings. And then you got to the bullpen and made some hay.
Yeah, I know I say this all the time. I don't always worry about the stats. I look at them from time to time. But that's the guy. I know we have guys that are probably statistically better, but if there's a situation where I need somebody up, it's going to be number 15. And part of that is just his approach, and a lot of that's experience. He's been there, done that. And so when he hops in the box, and this is something we preach and talk about all the time, is he understands what his job is during that at-bat. And he may not be always successful, but I know I'm going to get a professional at-bat out of that young man.
And you had one there as he took it the other way into left field for a base hit. So Jones aboard with 1 out. Anthony Chavez, who had a 3-hit game yesterday, is at the plate. 1 on, 1 out. Sodbuster down 5-1. as we are past the midpoint of this 7-inning contest. Pitch a little bit high, 1 ball and no strikes. Plus for Jones, you kind of winding things down. This is going to be his last summer ball as he gets set to go for his last year of college competition at Arkansas Tech.
Yeah, and so he's having a lot of fun, and we're glad he's here, and he's a really good leader for us, and that's something that he's been working on.
Bouncer back up the middle. They got the out at second, and then they tried to throw to first. Did they get the out there? As the throw pulled the first baseman, Caden Young, off the bag. Did Young make the tag? It looks like the home plate and the field umpire are going to get together here, and we'll see if Chavez is out or safe.
And I think he's out, and I just by the conversation between Jake and Frank. Frank can't see that from his angle, but that's why they work together, and that's what we like to see.
Yep, and they will talk things over to make sure, but prospect's pretty certain they got him, and from this angle, it certainly looked like Caden Young was able to tag Chavez on the way by, as they will. They're having a little longer discussion than we thought. Frank Williams and Jake Yeager are visiting about things, and they are going to rule Chavez out. Sodbuster fans aren't happy, but I think that's probably the right call.
I think that's right call. I'm surprised it took that long, because if you saw Jake run down the line like he's supposed to cover that, and I thought he had a good look at it. So I think that's the right call. Obviously disappointing for the Sodbusters, but I think that's the right call. Good job for those umpires to work together, and that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Fairly good umpiring throughout the course of the summer here on the Independence League, and Yeager working the plate. Frank Williams is the field umpire. Williams was behind the plate yesterday, and boy, I tell you, it's not always easy. I think about that call he had to make at home when Jacob Suits was trying to make the tag, and he just couldn't ever get a good look at whether Suits was able to control the baseball. And I think Suits basically was on top of the baseball, and when he injured that left hand when the glove came off, pretty much had to rule him safe at home.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He tried to get in the right spot. He was doing everything he was supposed to do, but it was just kind of that was a comedy of errors. We threw the ball around a little bit, and I think when I looked at the replay, I think he was out. It didn't make any difference, but there's no way. I mean, we have the ability to watch the replay and slow it down and not have to worry about being in the right angle. So, but again, I think Frank made the right call on the circumstances that he was in as well. So really, for the most part, all year, there's been a couple nights where I had some head scratching plays. That's kind of baseball as a whole, but for the most part, they've been pretty good.
Yep. So. Prospects get a bat here in the fifth. Do you need to go?
Yep, I got to go. I got to go do some work. So
all right,
I appreciate it. I'll probably be back later on the second game.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Scott Galusha, owner general manager of the Hastings Sodbusters, as Hastings trails this one 5-1 as we go to the fifth 7-inning game. That'll take about a half-hour break between the contests. If you are in Central Nebraska and want to watch the second contest, come on out and see it in person. A perfect night. Temperatures upper 80s, lower 90s, light breeze from the right field corner to left field corner. Right now it's a little bit overcast, so that makes it very pleasant. As Trey Mungeon bats, he is the beer batter, struck out his first time up. That made the Sodbuster fans happy, and then he hit it hard his second time up, but was robbed of extra bases by Cale Jensen out and left, and takes the first pitch ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Marcus Miller throwing pitch number 58 right there, hoping for a long, drawn-out affair for him. Got off to a tremendous start. 15 of his first 16 pitches were strikes. Now he's leveled off a little bit since that time and has walked a couple. Both of those guys have come around to score. 2-0 the count now on Trey Mungeon. Sodbusters and Prospects will have game 2 after this, after Hastings won the first game of the series yesterday, 15-8. Solidly struck ball to left field. Cale Jensen looks up into the sun, shades his eyes, and makes another strong play. So Mungeon with 2 very solidly struck balls, both turn into outs. Cale Jensen's been busy out in left field, and that will bring to the plate Cole Kitchens. Kitchens with the heartbreaking hit to this point for the Sodbusters. For the Sodbuster fans, as Kitchens had that 2-out, 2-run double back in the third to put his team up 3-0. They've since added 2 more. I should say they were up 3-1, and now it's 5-1 as Kitchens stands in the right-handed box. Cole Kitchens has been pretty good against Hastings this year with his 1-for-2 performance today. Now 7 for 12 as he takes a strike here. Cole Kitchens stands in the right-handed box, down to the count, 0-2. And Miller brings home the pitch. Hard hit ball, but Landon Gaz sticks the glove out, picks that one right off the turf, and there are 2 outs. Gaz, I know he had a couple of errors yesterday, but he also made a couple of good defensive plays, and that was a really good one there. Doing an opportunity to have that Sodbuster spotlight. It was very cool to have him talk about the fact that one of the things he's focused on this summer is that defense, and so that will make him happy and folks at UC Irvine happy as well. Looping liner to right center field, and that's a base hit. That's off the bat of Sid DeMayo. DeMayo 2 for 3 on the day. He's got a single, and it's a runner at first with 2 outs. We saw the Prospects have 2 out, nobody on last inning. Then they went walk, single, 2-run triple to get 2 on the board to take this 5-1 lead. And now Jake Henry Williams, will step to the plate to 5-4-3 double play his first time up. Then he grounded out to Printer at short his last time up. Jake Henry, the Arkansas State Red Wolf out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, swings at the off-speed pitch here and did not make contact. No balls, 1 strike, 67 miles an hour on that one from Marcus Miller. Runner at first, 2 outs. 5 runs, 7 hits now for the Prospects. Sodbusters 1 run on 3 hits, 2 of those coming back in the first when the Sodbusters scored their lone run. Hard hit ball to center field. Lane Shires didn't get a good read on it. It's over his head. Here's DeMayo rounding second. He'll hit the third base bag and score. Jake Henry Williams is trying for 3. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. It gets by Chavez, but no chance for further advancement. The second triple of the day for the Nebraska Prospects. That plates another run. 2 2-out triples have scored 3 runs for the Prospects over the last 2 innings, and now they own a 6-1 lead here in the 5th inning. Just a 7-inning contest. The Prospects, you don't say it's out of reach after yesterday. Hastings showed the ability to put double digits in an inning, but that's probably not going to happen every day. Caden Young steps to the plate now, particularly with a guy like Joel Benish on the hill for the Prospects, who's not allowed a run since that first. Pitch missing here to Caden Young. Young with a fly out and a ground out. His first 2 plate appearances against the Hastings Sodbusters. 6-1 the score. So the 2-out hits have been big. Saw the 2-out, 2-run double in the third. 2-out, 2-run triple in the fourth. And a RBI triple with 2 outs here in the 5th. So I want to talk about taking advantage and really demoralizing the opponent. 2-out hits and 2-out extra base hits. Oh my goodness. The Prospects have gotten it done today. Pitch across for strike, 2-1. The count now on Caden Young.
That 4th inning, it was a 2-out walk that started everything off, and then don't want to call them the floodgates. There's only 3 runs, but that's been the deciding factor so far, and the Prospects have been in the driver's seat ever since.
Both guys who have walked have scored to this point in the game as the pitch is fouled away. As Caden Young trying to come through and keep this inning going. Young, 254 coming into today. Now just 2 for 12 against the Sodbusters as the teams play their 5th game of the season. Prospects won the first 3, 2 of them in impressive fashion. Sodbusters coming back to win yesterday. The winning team has scored double digits 3 out of the 4 games so far. The lone exception, an outstanding 3-0 game back on June 20th. Tremendous pitching performance in that for all involved, including today's starter Joel Benish for the team from Nebraska. 3-2 pitch fouled away. Caden Young stays alive. Runner at third, 2 outs, and another run home here for the Prospects. 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth to open up a 6-1 lead after the Sodbusters got their lone run back in the first. Miller brings it home. Hit high in the air to right field. Sodbusters, Hiltbrand still fading, and he will make the catch. I should say Taylor Gill out in right field for the Hastings Sodbusters, as Gill, showing his versatility after playing at second base yesterday, makes the play in right, and that'll do it. But the Prospects get a run on 2 hits, and we head to the bottom half of inning number 5. It's 6-1 Prospects. This is Sodbuster Baseball. 6-1, the Hastings Sodbusters trail it as we head to the bottom half of inning number 5, and it'll be 7, 8, 9. Gaz, Kistler, and Printer trying to find the measure of Joel Benish, who, well, you hoped you got him early, but they only got one early, and now Benish through 4 innings has thrown 50 pitches, 33 of them strikes. Hasn't been a big strikeout game for him, just 1 K, but has so far been good enough, and the prospects have been outstanding with 2 outs to build a 6-1 lead. As it's Steve Stein, Ryan Valenta, Noah Pagel is running the TV show today. Game brought to you by Aloe, Pepsi, and Coach's Corner. Connor Christensen is on Flight Scope, providing us some of those numbers. And here's Landon Gaz, grounded out to the shortstop, his first time up. The second of 3 straight to ground out to Nate Cunningham back in inning number 2. Pitch outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes on Landon Gaz. The prospects, I'm sure they're very comfortable at playing solid defense. You get a guy like Benish on the mound, you know he's one of their aces, so I'm sure they probably play a little better behind him, just knowing that he's going to fill up the zone. Gaz pops this one up down the right field line, a long run for everyone, and it's going to be the left fielder calling off the play as Jake Henry Williams, I should say the right fielder, calling off everyone as Jackson Trout was able to make the play there for the Nebraska prospects. So 1 out. Looked like Mungeon may have had it measured. Caden Young gave way as well. And at the end, Jackson Trout with the play. And I don't know if the prospects, if they have read their charter, but there is no Lynham in the lineup today. That is kind of crazy. That's usually there's a Cade, a Colin, or both. Bouncing ball right side could be tough. Nope, good play. Caden Young grabs it, steps on the bag, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th inning as this prospect squad continues to flash the leather.
That's a good point there. I didn't even realize that. No Lynham today, which is what we've seen in every other game. Colin Lynham, the number 1, he's started in almost every game. He's come on in defensive replacement a few times, so wouldn't rule him out of the question, but we may see him, probably see at least one of them in game 2, if I had to bet.
You would think. If they're in uniform, we may see one or both in the second game of the doubleheader. A pair of 7-inning contests. Josh Printer, number 9 hitter, up there with 2 outs, nobody on. Sodbusters down to their last 7 outs in this first game, trailing at 6-1. Printer ahead in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on the Sodbuster shortstop as Benish brings it home. Pretty solidly struck ball, but right at Trey Mungeon, and another 0 put on the board by Joel Benish. 1, 2, 3 go the Sodbusters here in inning number 5. We head to the 6th. It's Nebraska 6, Hastings 1. This is Sodbuster Baseball. We head to the 6th inning, bottom of the order coming up for the prospects, and that is terrible news for the Hastings Sodbusters because the 7, 8, and 9 hitters are a combined 4 for 4 with 2 runs batted in and 5 runs scored for this Nebraska prospect squad today. Once again, Ryan Valenta.
Yet to retire those 3 batters at all. 4 for 4 with a couple of walks, 2 to the first man, Jackson Trout, and 9-hole Nathan Cunningham. As Miller back out on the mound, want to save your bullpen, hopefully for at least just the last inning, or maybe you can get Miller to eat up the rest of these 2 innings here in game number 1. See how the Sodbusters play it in the final 2 innings, as 2 innings remain in this first game of the Twin Bill today here at Duncan Field. So Miller's afternoon continues. He's pitched 73 pitches through 5 innings. Had a great 1-2-3 inning, faced the minimum through second, and had a little bit of trouble in the past 3 innings. Pitches ball 1 outside to Jackson Trout. The aforementioned Trout, 1 for 1. Singled and scored in the 3rd and walked and scored in the 4th. So he has 2 of the 6 runs for the Prospects. There's ball 2 inside. Sodbusters have gotten the bats going at home. Exception being this game, the thing they still need to correct is their pitching. Team ERA of 6.82 at home, and opponents hitting 2.88 coming into today's contest. And unless your bats are steaming hot like they were last night, that's not going to win you many games. Sodbusters find themselves down 5 runs. They were down 5 runs last night as Trout walks on 4 straight. He's aboard for the 3rd time and his 2nd walk of the afternoon. So Bradley bats. He had a big hit in the 4th after Miller recorded 2 ground outs, a walk, a single by Bradley, and a 2 RBI triple by the man on deck. Brought in 2 runs to take a more comfortable lead. First pitch to him, gets away from Kistler and rolls all the way towards the dugout and almost rolled into the dugout. But that's a wild pitch, and Trout advances to 2nd with nobody out. Now you just need a base hit to tack on that 7th run. Sodbusters were down by 5 last night. They were down 7-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Bottom of the 5th inning was a different story. Sodbusters putting double digits on the board, but failed to do so here this game. Breaking ball gets the call. That clips an edge on the outside part of the plate. It's 1-1 to Bradley.
I dare say they may have done it last night had Joel Benish been on the mound. He's a dude.
We wondered how things would fare out. This is how they fared out. Benish, the opposing starter, some trouble in the 1st and has been great ever since. Bradley swings and misses over that off-speed pitch as he's down in the count 1-2. Tucker Bradley, one of the few catchers on the team. He's an Arkansas boy from the few Arkansas kids on the roster. High chopper, Printer has to wait for it. Hops, throws, just in time. Great play by Printer to get the catcher Bradley by a step.
No panic there. Sometimes you worry about that, knowing, okay, come down, I gotta wait, and Printer knew he still had time and shows that live arm to gun down Tucker Bradley.
So Trout advances to 3rd on the play. He's there with 1 out, and here is Nathan Cunningham. Drove in 2 runs on that triple in the 4th inning, and also walked and scored in the 3rd. It's a good day for him as he did not record a hit yesterday. Fouled to the parking lot for strike 1.
That foul ball is sponsored by Trap Downtown, Central Nebraska's premier escape room business located in historic.
So 6 starters have recorded a hit for the Prospects. They match their hit total from last night. Pitch is high and away for ball 1. It's 1-1. And with the 8 hits, it's actually 2 more than last night. Prospects ended up scoring 8 runs, but just on 6 hits. Today, their runs and hits are flipped around. That breaking ball misses just a little bit high for ball 2. So Cunningham ahead in the count, 2-1. Prospects, the runner 90 feet away, infield to the left side, heavily shifted towards 3rd base. Look out at the Prospect dugout. So count goes to 2-2 to Cunningham. Cunningham can hit the ball, but also leads the team in strikeouts. You'd love one right here. Get him out in front of something or something soft to the left side. 2-2. Ground ball weakly. Runner holds at 3rd. Chavez over to 1st. High throw, but Gaz holds the bag. And that is out number 2. Made that a little bit harder than it needed to be, but Sodbusters get the out, and they keep Trout at third.
Really good job for Landon Gasney. We were just scared to death that Cunningham was going to barrel him over, especially the ball was on the foul side of first base, so Gaz had to grab it, pull the arm back, as you're just hoping that Cunningham wouldn't nail Gaz in the arm as he ran by, and 2 outs back at the top of the order.
Kind of an uncharacteristic throw from Chavez at third, but he gets the job done. Here's Danny Spongberg. Infield on the left side, playing him to shift as well as he takes strike 1. On the breaking ball from Miller. Spongberg on the day is hitless, still is yet to record a hit in the series, but drove in a run in the third. Same pitch, same result, and Spongberg has not had an answer for that breaking ball on the inner part of the plate. Miller a pitch away. Here's the 0-2. Fastball not close for ball 1. Sodbusters will come up to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Just 3 hits on the day for the Busters after erupting for 17 last night. Trout at third, Cunningham, and hit to left field. That's a base hit for Danny Spongberg. And he does have that first hit now, and it drives in another run, his 3rd RBI of the series, as Trout comes to score the 3rd time today, and it's 7-1.
And the depressing note continues. The Nebraska prospects have 7 runs on the board. 6 of them have come with 2 outs. Sodbusters just can't finish innings as Spongberg continues that particular trend. The only run to score with less than 2 outs was the first run back in the 3rd inning.
That leadoff walk comes around to score. And that's foul down the left field side for Trey Mungin. So for the day now, Miller has given up 9 hits and 7 runs, all of them earned. Runner at first is Spongberg. And he not going, and taking ball 1 is Mungin. Spongberg, a threat to steal, team leader in steals. He's a perfect 11 for 11. Tyler Kistler behind the plate. Threw out 9 runners in the spring for Hastings. Breaking ball keeps high for ball 2. And didn't miss by much there, but count goes to 2-1. Sodbuster bullpen stirring, but no action yet. Miller tries to get out of the 6th. There goes Spongberg. Pitch is popped up. Gaz by the first base bag, backpedaling, and makes the play. Made that a little more interesting than it needed to be, but Gaz puts it away for out number 3. Prospects get another. They lead 7-1. Sodbusters have 6 outs to go. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 6th inning, Sodbusters coming to bat after the Sodbuster defense have given up runs in the past 4 innings. They find themselves in a 6-run hole with 6 outs left to play in game 1 of this doubleheader. Joel Benish back out on the mound for the Prospects and have a couple of defensive changes. We notice Easton Swafford has taken over Cole Kitchen's spot at third base. And Steve, unless you see anybody else, we'll have more as they become available on Game Changer.
I'll check it out, but yeah, that's the lone change we see at this point. Soundbusters trying to rally here in their final 2 at-bats.
Probably not the worst idea to take Kitchens out of the game. After all, he did pitch last night, threw 67 pitches, and started him at third base today. So with the lead, you can probably give him the rest of the game off and use him in Game 2 if you need to. Top of the order for the Sodbusters, Taylor Gill bats. Playing just in his second game as a Sodbuster, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout here so far against Benish. Painted fastball in the outer part of the plate for strike 1. Gill, the lefty, fouls that off. Back to the left side.
That foul ball is brought to you by Nebraska Land Distributing.
Gill's from out west in Orem, Utah.
Right here at Duncan Field.
He enjoyed a nice debut last night with 2 hits. Weak ground ball, but foul past Coach Coranda at first base. As that rolls down to the prospect bullpen, rather, and Gill's down to his last strike. Sodbusters got 2 hits off Benish in the first and scored. They have 1 hit in the past 4 innings. And Benish just facing 1 over the minimum. And that's just foul down the right field side. So Gill stays alive. The exception of a 2-out hit batter in the 3rd inning. Benish has faced the minimum. 4th inning single was erased by a double play and a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Gill bats in the 6th. Weak ground ball to shortstop. Cunningham scoops, throws, and perfect for out number 1. And Cunningham's been busy all day over there, and that is his 5th putout of the contest, and 1 up and 1 down for the Prospects.
Very well played game overall defensively for both teams, but the Prospects in particular, as they have not allowed anything to get through and made all the routine plays, and consequently they have a fairly comfortable lead with just 5 outs to get.
So 6 innings, the Prospects have retired the leadoff man in every inning. Lane Shires takes strike 1. Shires has been swinging it well late. Had the best offensive performance in the weekend series against Badlands, where he went 3 for 10 and drove in 4 runs. As he takes ball 1 upstairs, count goes to 1-1. Shires had a multi-hit game yesterday and also drove in 2 runs. Call at the knees for strike 2. Good fastball by Benish. Shires watches that one go by. And the count 1-2. Good block there from Bradley, but Shires doesn't offer. Sodbusters got their first win over the Prospects last night. Prospects looking to flip the script, and if this scores stands, Game 3 will be a rubber match. Whack to the left side, and there's the new fielder, Swafford. Long throw, but pulls off the bag, Young. And Shires beats out that throw, as Young not able to hold the bag at first. We'll see how they score that. Probably an error on somebody.
Should be the first error for the Prospects in the person of Easton Swafford, as really no chance for Caden Young. Did a good job to come off the bag to get the ball before it went by, but no chance to get back on the bag, and the Sodbusters will have a 1-out base runner.
Well, here is Cale Jensen. Breaking ball is up high for ball 1. On Game Changer, Andy says that's a single.
Okay.
And taking strike 1 is Cale Jensen, but now it says that he grounded out to third. But he's on base. Andy, get it together. Which one is it?
Don't give Andy a hard time. He's got a lot of things going on over the dugout.
It's hot down there as Cale Jensen waves and misses. You know, everybody else for most of the game was on the bench for the dugout, and Andy has been right near the top step, putting in all the stats and plays for Game Changer. Wave and a miss. And Jensen comes up empty there, and he's struck out for out number 2. So it'll be up to Marcos Cabranes if the Sodbusters are to get a run back here in the 6th inning.
And I know it sounds weird when you've got 1 run and 3 hits or maybe 4 hits, but Sodbusters have done a decent job at least making contact. Just the second strikeout of the day for Joel Benish, but he's been very good with his location and not many solidly struck balls, even though the Sodbusters have put it in play most of the time.
Benish, a big strikeout guy in his complete game against Oahe. His last outing, he struck out 15 zap. Marcos takes ball 1 up high. Cabranes with a 3-hit game yesterday recorded his 9th multi-hit game of the year for the Sodbusters, most among active players right now. There's a fastball right there for strike 1. Marcos, always an interesting character, loves playing baseballs. Ever since he could pretty much walk on the own, he's been part of the game. That'll get out of play to the right side. It's actually Marcos' first summer in the United States, a Puerto Rican native. So he is spending it in central Nebraska. But he's always had a smile on his face. He always plays hard. He holds himself to a high standard. Great guy on this Sodbuster roster this year. So Shire's at first. He reaches on the error. And that gets away from Bradley, and Shires will advance to second on the wild pitch. So now you have a runner in scoring position, but you still have 2 outs and 2 strikes on Cabranes.
And it would be fascinating to visit with Marcos. I mean, never spending a summer in the U.S., now he's in Nebraska. I mean, I would think summers in Puerto Rico would be, you don't want to talk hot and humid here. What's it like in Puerto Rico in July?
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I feel like we have it bad enough in Nebraska already, but other parts of the world, yeah, down by that, closer to the equator than we are, probably get pretty insufferable. 2-2 to Cabranes. And he pops it up on the infield. Munjin makes the play for out number 3. And that strands a runner at second base, and Sodbusters are retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 left on. We go to the 7th inning, last call for both sides here at Duncan Field. Last inning for game number 1 of this doubleheader, as Sodbusters will try and hang a 0, which they have failed to do so in the past 4 innings. They will call on Luke Wenzel on the mound for the Sodbusters in relief of Marcus Miller, who finishes his day. 6 innings pitched, 9 hits and 7 earned runs allowed for the left-hander. Now the right-hander Wenzel on, making his 14th appearance. Started 3 times, kind of in pinches for the Sodbusters. 23 2/3 innings. Has a 9.89 ERA. He's allowed 26 earned runs, 18 walks, 15 strikeouts, and 21 hit batters. Wenzel's using this summer to kind of figure out his arm slot and motion, as he will try and get the last 3 outs of this first game. And Easton Swafford will bat for the Prospects. He came on to replace Cole Kitchens as a defensive replacement. So he will get his first chance at the plate. Swafford started the game last night and led off. He was 1 for 2 with a single walk and 2 runs scored before he was lifted for a replacement in the 6th inning. So Wenzel kind of a sidewinder delivery and gets one down the plate, but fouls it off as Swafford as he bats here in the 7th. Swafford, the team high 29 hits, 6 doubles and 2 triples. The 0-1 to him is in the right-handed batter's box for ball 1. Pitch is a little bit closer this time, but still outside. No, count goes to 2-1. With Wenzel's 14th appearance, as he delivers ball 3 downstairs, he now takes over sole place of second most appearances for this Sodbuster relievers. Pitch is in the air to center field. Shires is there and makes the grab for out number 1. And 3-1 count, swinging is Swafford. And he flies out to center, and 1 up, 1 down for Wenzel.
Good start for Wenzel, as didn't hit every mark with his pitches, but was able to get enough over the plate. And Swafford flies out. 2 more outs here to put a 0 on the board and try to give your team a fighting chance in the bottom of the 7th.
So Sid DeMeo bats in the 7th. He is 2 for 3. Good day for prospect designated hitter, who is also a catcher by trade. His 2 singles coming in the 2nd and the 5th inning. Leadoff man retired. Paint job there. Great pitch by Wenzel to catch the outside corner for strike 2. Wenzel delivers the 0-2. Fly ball, shallow center. Printer going out, says he's got it, and he does in the outfield grass for out number 2. And 2 flyouts has Wenzel with 2 up and 2 down, and Jake Henry Williams, the last batter in the 7th.
Performance like this can give you a little confidence. Hopefully Luke can finish the deal right here, get him 1, 2, 3. And that prospect squad getting the first man out, they did that. Now, leadoff man had been on base 3 of the previous 6 innings for this prospect team.
First pitch swinging is Henry Williams. A high fly ball, and Jensen eventually gets under it after it comes down, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Luke Wenzel, who has a big smile on his face as he walks back to the dugout. Last call for the Sodbusters. They need 6 to tie, 7 to win. It's the bottom of the 7th right after this. Prospects go down in order in the 7th inning, and last call for the Sodbusters as they will send 5, 6, and 7 up to the plate against Jackson Meyer, who comes on in relief of Joel Benish. Benish for the Prospects was stellar again against the Sodbusters. Last outing gave up 3 hits and no runs. This outing gives up 3 hits and 1 run. So very low ERA for Benish against the Prospects this year, as Jackson Myers comes on to clean it up here for the final 3 outs in the 7th inning. We will have Game 2 on a separate broadcast coming right up. We are hoping that this one will start around 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. So about 5:50 right now, with the exception of a big inning. Probably see you back here anytime between 6:30 and 7. Or we will play our second 7-inning doubleheader for the Prospects hit the road, and Sodbusters will have tomorrow off before welcoming the Oahe Zap for a weekend series for 3 games. Nick Jones, first batter for the Sodbusters. He bats here in the 7th inning just for the 3rd time. He is 1 for 2, had a 4th inning single, but was erased on a double play. Sodbusters have had success against the Prospect bullpen in the past, as that pitch is outside for ball 1 to Jones. Just got a piece of that one for strike 1. Jones yesterday had an 8th inning single, and he was, with his single, he was the last Sodbuster starter to record a hit, as all 9 Sodbusters yesterday recorded a hit. And there is strike 2 on the outer part of the plate to Jones. Jones was on base 5 of the 6 times yesterday. He's been on base once today. 1-2 to him. Off speed is outside for a ball, 2-2. Meyer kicks, steals, and pop up in foul territory. Swafford makes the play on the side for out number 1, and Jones pops out in foul territory for out number 1, so he will finish this game 1 for 3. As comes up to Anthony Chavez, who's grounded out to short twice, and one of them being a double play.
Meyer hitting about 85 with his fastball, so he can bring it a little bit. We'll see if Hastings can mount a little bit of a rally just to get a little mo for game 2 of this doubleheader if you're not going to score 6 in this contest.
First pitch to him is smoked to left center field, but Henry Williams has it measured up in the gap, and he puts it away for out number 2 as Chavez is retired on 1 pitch. And Landon Gaz comes up as the final hope for the Sodbusters in game 1.
You know, I wonder Joel Benish and his pitch count. That wasn't a factor today. 74 pitches. I think it's a doubleheader. They're just going to let's give him 20 minutes off and start game 2.
I don't think that's how it works.
College coach would frown on that. I'll tell you that. That'll probably be the last time Trevor Varland get a chance to coach Joel Benish.
Benish, a UNO product. He has a lot of eyes on him here in this Independence League, and he has cleaned up nicely against the Sodbusters and pretty much every other team they've played so far. Gaz down 0-1. There's ball 1 up high. Gaz, a guy who's had success at home rather than on the road. Coming into the game, Gaz's 14 hits, 11 of them have been here at Duncan Field. 1-1 to him, fouled off to the right side. So Sodbusters down to their last strike as Gaz is down 1-2. We'll recap this game quickly. We'll give you a little bit of a break, and we will see you right after this here in about 30 minutes. 1-2 to Gaz. Outside and low for ball 2. Gaz was our pregame spotlight. Done nice work here for the Sodbusters in his short playing time here this summer. 2-2, got him swinging. Breaking ball from Meyer, and he strikes out Gaz to end the game as the Sodbusters go down 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. 7-1 your final score. 9 hits for the Prospects, 3 hits for the Sodbusters. We'll recap right after this. Final score is 7-1. Prospects take game 2 over the Hastings Sodbusters. So both teams have won one game. We will play a rubber match here in about 30 minutes. And for the Sodbusters, not a whole lot of bright spots there, just 3 hits. And Marcus Miller, the starter, goes 6 innings, allows 7 runs, 9 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He is the losing pitcher, as Joel Benish for the Prospects goes 6 innings, scatters 3 hits, just allowing the 1 earned run in the first inning, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. The Sodbusters, it looked good early, Steve. That sacrifice fly from Marcos Cabranes, you get that run early, but Benish is the buzzsaw. You ran into him, and he was just dominant the whole way, but Sodbusters.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And for Miller, kind of a courageous outing. I mean, he was able to put 6 innings on the board, and just give Nebraska a heck of a lot of credit. The Prospects getting it done with 2 outs. And oh my goodness, they had that first run scored on a sacrifice fly in the third. After that, every other run scoring with 2 outs. They went ahead on the 2-out, 2-run double from Cole Kitchens. They get a 2-run triple from Nate Cunningham, an RBI triple from Jake Henry Williams, and they get an RBI single from Danny Sponberg, all with 2 outs. Good teams will beat you with 2 outs, and Nebraska Prospects very good, and they got it done when they needed to continue innings. Consequently, they get to win.
Something the Sodbusters have improved on recently is situational hitting, just not there this game. They exploded for 15 runs and 17 hits last night, just 1 run on 3 hits in this first game of this doubleheader. As once again, winning pitcher is Joel Benish. The losing pitcher is Marcus Miller. For the Sodbusters, Lane Shires, Cale Jensen, and Nick Jones recording hits, all just singles. And for the Prospects, the hits, multi-hit game from Sid DeMeo and Tucker Bradley, as they had that situational hitting there, as they kept that foot on the gas from the 3rd inning on and didn't let up.
One bright spot, Luke Wenzel comes in 7th inning, 1-2-3. Nice to see him. He's kind of struggled a little bit, but able to get a 3-up, 3-down inning. And you look for positives, you look for improvement, and that was certainly a step forward for Luke Wenzel here today as he worked a clean 7th.
That was good to see. Wenzel has been wild, but got to put a little bit of confidence in the Kearney kid. He pitches a 1-2-3 inning, but Sodbusters again fall by a score of 7-1. They scored 1 in the first. Prospects got 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the 5th and 6th innings to take this contest. We will step aside for a little bit, and we will have the starting lineups for Game 3 of the rubber match. You should look for a new stream here on YouTube, which will be up shortly. And we expect first pitch to be around 6:30 to 6:45 range here at Duncan Field. For Ryan Valenta, Steve Stein, Noah Pagel, and Connor Christensen, thanks for listening in, and we will talk to you shortly here on Sodbuster Baseball.